All right, so here we go. Yes, it is March and some very cool things happening around Space Marine 2. And we got yet again new replies from the dev team. And a lot of people were wondering about this right here in the most recent blog post, which is class weapon loadouts rework. And we got some expanded details about that today from the dev team. Plus, we also have to talk about this one right here. I am so sick of making accounts on things. Just let me unlock them in game. I don't care how many FOMO events you make. I am not making a pros account, and the pros account has become a big talking point within the community, and we got new responses from the dev team about this as well. Plus, we got some new responses about upcoming customization options you can expect in the game. Some cool things going on around that. And we need to talk about absolute difficulty versus the other difficulties, because some surprising things happening within the community about that one as well. And yes, more about utilizing the hammer properly. So yeah, some cool stuff going on there, and we're gonna go over your top comments, but you know what? Check this out right here. So yes, I actually did it. I pulled two amazing legendary champions recently, and Cora, who's an amazing buffer, and yes, Theodore, the savant, who can poison the enemy team. And as you guys may know, I've been tracking my entire journey in Raid Shadow Legends on my brand new partner YouTube channel, which you can find in the description below, so don't be afraid to stop by and say hello. But I gotta say thank you guys for your love and support on the new channel. And by the way, I actually play Raid on PC, which some of you might not realize that you can actually do. Raid looks fantastic on PC. Can't recommend it enough. But today you can also get Loki for completely free, who's an amazing legendary support champion. So all you got to do is use my link in that description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to download the game for free and enter Get Loki into the promo code section, and boom, there he is in your inbox waiting for you for completely free, as well as a ton of resources to give you the best start in Raid. And this promo code, by the way, is for new users. Or hey, you can also start up a new free-to-play account. But if you also use my link in that description below or scan the QR code, you'll also receive Tagore and Ugo completely free, two amazing epic support champions, as well as additional resources. So join me on this adventure and download Raid Shadow Legends for free. See you there. So yeah, we're going to start here with the blog post where it did mention this right here. Two cool things happening around weapons. Weapon perk rebalance, and then class weapon loadouts rework. We're going to focus on that second thing today. So we had a question out on Discord, which was this right here from Barricade113. Goes on to say this in the previous dev blog. They said weapon class restrictions, while in the dev blog they write class weapon loadouts rework. Does this mean one or both are happening? And moreover, does this mean more weapons will be open to more classes? Or does it mean each loadout will save each respective perk choice on both weapon and classes? Or will both be implemented? Can you elaborate if you can? And we did get a response, and it's right here. They go on to say this: it's more like giving more weapon options to the classes. So finally, we get actual clarification on what is going on with the future in terms of them actually looking into class weapon loadouts rework. That is what it means. Now, they went on to say that they don't have exact details or specifics for us, and they did wish they could have shared like screenshots and things like that in the blog post, of course, giving us more details. But this is very much work in progress, and I cannot wait to see what they actually do with this, because this has been a very highly requested feature for Space Marine 2. But we got to talk about the next hot button issue, which is this right here. Check it out. Finally got the helmet. Saber, please don't make events exclusive to pros anymore. The website is not that good. They go on to say the website was super delayed and janky. Had to keep refreshing throughout the entire day just to see if it tallied. Do us all a favor, Saber, and make your future community events happen in the game itself, not because we have to make a separate account on another website. It would make things much easier to track. And oh boy, 3,100 upvotes on this, meaning the community desperately wants a change. Yeah, looking through the responses to this thread, so many people complaining about how pros is just not tracking the progress of this event whatsoever, or it's just being incorrectly tracked, and you go in and you check every few hours. And then, for example, I had to do at least 3 ops with each class before actually counted. Thankfully, I like the game, so it's not a huge issue, but it should not be this broken and janky. Also, the helmet should have been part of the base game. Titus is literally wearing it in the prologue. Now, remember, a lot of people were really worried that this is like a true FOMO event, and Saber did clarify, hey, that's not the case. You're going to have other opportunities in the future to actually obtain this helmet, so please don't worry. But yeah, there were threads after threads about this issue saying pros be like, I'm having troubles with the tracker as well. The community in the past 3 days, look at this right here. Love the reference to Jurassic Park, by the way, but yeah, they have got to do something to rework this or improve it altogether. But this leads us to this post right here on the Discord saying, I actually had a question in regards to part of it. You guys mentioned that you weren't happy with the latest helmet situation and noted that we weren't either. You guys said you were looking to implement a different way to acquire the cosmetics in the game. Does that mean you won't be using pros in the future for events such as the last? You probably didn't word it exactly like that, but I'm going off of what I remember reading. And here's the official response. No, I understand the question. I think we are trying to find a way to bypass the pros connection, but nothing is set in stone for now. But this has got to happen, Saber, and it's got to happen before we head into the next event, of course, because with this recent event, I saw so much excitement for this helmet, and it was such a bummer to see people just struggling to obtain the reward after completing all of the objectives one go around. It shouldn't take 3 times over to be able to get your reward. It's just ridiculous. But it's great to know that they are looking into this, and I really do hope the dev team finds a reasonable solution here. But you know, earlier I did mention customization options, and it looks like they're going to be expanding this in a very cool way. Check it out right here. What about face customization? And it is still planned for later. That hasn't been tabled or anything, but it's not going to be happening immediately, so it seems like it's going to be at the tail end of that year 1 battle plan. But I gotta ask, how many of you would go helmetless, which seems to be very forbidden within the Space Marine 2 community, if you do get actual, like, really cool facial customization options? And there were some very curious things happening around difficulty within the community. Despite this absolute difficulty being added to the game, it seems like not a lot of players are actually staying in that difficulty. Check it out right here. Absolute difficulty was great. Not going back anytime soon, though. After completing all operations in both lethal and absolute, I mostly hang out on substantial difficulty since I feel it's the most balanced when it comes to enemy density, health, damage, and mission progression. What's your preferred difficulty level? Substantial? Really? A Marine of your talents? It's a peaceful life. I love this post because I am the exact same way. And I was wondering if there was anyone else out there that was this way. Now, we have Crimson Sorrows who says, I do ruthless runs to warm up and the obligatory chaos conditioning run, then help others with whichever difficulty they need. But I'm definitely not maining absolute, LOL. A lot of people saying me either, just way too intense. And I was saying, I was going to say annoying. I played on Sundays with dedicated people from Discord, but other than that, nah. Now, Cloud None has a different take on this. He says, ruthless is perfect in my opinion. Just enough challenge to feel like an actual test of skill, but not so much bullshit that it feels unfair. And another person agreeing here that ruthless is where it's at. You're going to need the perks and weapon rarities to shine in it, but it's forgiving and a lot of fun. I can get through an entire mission as a bulwark on ruthless and barely take a scratch. Absolute is ridiculous. It was fun time, but I'm not likely messing with it after I get my hands on the pauldron. So yeah, do you guys think absolute is far too difficult? Do you think they should, man, dare I say, nerf it? I don't want to suggest that they should nerf it, by the way. I'm not suggesting that at all right now. You guys know how I feel about nerfs and stuff like that, and I do believe that there needs to be a very challenging difficulty when it comes to cool cosmetics and things like that. But would you prefer like the hardest difficulty to be a place where you stay, you know? And it's not just limited to, hey, I'm going to obtain this really cool pauldron and then move on forever from it. No, it seems like the dev team is also perhaps interested in having players stay around, hang around a little bit more in the tougher difficulty. But even they have said that it's been very challenging with these difficulties, and they're kind of at their limits when it comes to offering challenges in terms of difficulty itself. But yes, we have returned to that discussion, fencing versus parry versus blocking. So check this out right here. It says, yeah, another post telling you to try block hammer, and he showcases some really cool gameplay here. If I could rewind it for a moment, how powerful the block mechanic is with the hammer when utilizing assault. Look at this, not even taking any sort of damage whatsoever. I love it. So yeah, it seems like in the right hands, the Assault can be an absolutely beastly class when using that hammer. So I say give it a go. Maybe it might surprise you if you've been neglecting block. But you guys know what time it is. It is time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video, but you know what? Check this out right here. And by the way, if you want to join me in my adventure with Raid Shadow Legends, be sure to click that link in the description below to download Raid for free, or the QR code on the screen, and you'll get 2 free epic support champions, Tagore and yes, Ugo, and also a bunch of free starting resources to give you the best start in Raid Shadow Legends. So join me in Raid Shadow Legends. Let's do this. All right, so here we go. Our first talk comment is from Matt, who says this: I just want armor blips under everyone's health bar on the top left and to show contested health to know if someone needs to execute. I've heard this over and over again. I really wish Saber would tell us something in regards to perhaps getting this updated in like future updates. That would be a huge game changer. You would know when to back off of doing executes if, you know, one of your friends is really struggling with their armor bar. So yeah, that definitely needs to be a thing. Also, next up, we have this one right here. Demarium is a Necron tomb world, right? Would be neat to have an operation cleaning up the remaining Chaos forces and wind up coming face to face with the awakening Necrons. Now, you know, they have made some comments in the past, the dev team, that they might want to reserve an entirely new enemy faction for like a new game. So yeah, that is what they have said, and they did go on to say that it's a ton of work creating an entirely new faction. But then again, you know, I feel like this would have been really cool if they could have like given us a massive expansion for Space Marine 2. Now, I don't know if that's going to be on the table, you know, for like year 2 or something like that. They have not mentioned or confirmed anything regarding like a huge expansion, but damn, I feel like this engine is so crisp and so good that they could just update the engine over time, and that'd be very, very cool if they could just keep going with this current existing game. But anyway, back to the top comments. Let's get back into this. So we have this one right here. Space Marine 2 is a live service game without the live service. They built the game around a live service model and decided not to do the live service part. That's why the game seems so wonky at times. Yeah, this is a divisive argument for sure. It seems like there's a big portion of the community that wants the game to hold on to those, you know, I guess you would say nostalgic roots of a game that has like bigger expansions, doesn't have a battle pass, isn't live service. But there's a big part of the community, I feel like the majority of you, that also wants regular content releasing, you know, and that's a tough thing because once you have regular content releasing all the time, then that is where you do start stepping into that live service territory. But it's very tricky because you guys know how live service games can turn out. It can be very, very bad, especially when it comes to microtransactions, and they just try to like up prices, and they try to do predatory practices and things like that. So I'm extremely apprehensive about anything live service when it comes to Space Marine 2. I really like what we have currently, you know. But I do get the need for more content. That's the thing. I wish there was like an operation releasing every 2 weeks or something like that, or something crazy, but that's not going to happen. We'll see what they do plan for the future of the franchise. That's what I'm curious when it comes to like something like Space Marine 3. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Space Marine 2 news and updates. I have you guys covered, and I will see you all next time. Take care.